Before we jump in, do me one quick favor. Hit that like button so this video gets pushed to more people who need this message. Subscribe if you're serious about leveling up mentally, emotionally, and logically. This channel is built for you. And while you're here, drop a quick comment saying, "I'm ready," so I know you're locked in. Alright, let's get into it. 45 facts about people who don't like people. Antisocial personality traits explained. They value solitude over company. Their energy comes from being alone, not from social interaction. They find small talk pointless. They prefer conversations with purpose, not filler. 3. They observe more than they speak. Silence is their way of understanding people. 4. They get drained easily in social settings. Crowds exhaust them mentally. 5. They dislike drama. They avoid people to avoid unnecessary emotional chaos. 6. They hate being forced to socialize. It feels intrusive and unnatural. 7. They prefer deep connections with very few people. Quality over quantity is a lifestyle. 8. They see through fake personalities quickly. Their observation skills expose insincerity. 9. They love independence. Relying on others feels uncomfortable. 10. They struggle trusting people. Experience has taught them caution. 11. They can seem rude but are just honest. They don't sugarcoat or pretend. 12. They often had childhood environments that lacked emotional safety. Distance became their protection. 13. They notice things others overlook. Being quiet sharpens awareness. 14. They get overstimulated by too much social noise. Their brain prefers simplicity and calm. 15. They think before reacting. Silence is part of their processing style. 16. They disconnect when people are too demanding. High-maintenance personalities push them away. 17. They are extremely loyal to the few people they do like. If you're in their circle, you're safe. 18. They dislike people who brag or seek attention. Flashiness and ego annoy them. 19. They enjoy routine. Predictability feels safe and comfortable. 20. They read body language better than talkative people. Observation becomes a skill. 21. They prefer online communication over in-person interactions. It feels less draining and more controlled. 22. They don't fear missing out. FOMO doesn't apply. They enjoy their world. 23. They dislike being judged, so they stay away from environments where it happens. 24. They often have strong creative or analytical minds. Solitude feeds their thinking. 25. They cut people off easily when disrespected. Boundaries come naturally. 26. They hate hypocrisy. Fake niceness turns them cold instantly. 27. They can sense emotional manipulation fast. Distance becomes their shield. 28. They struggle with surface-level friendships. It feels empty and pointless. 30. They sometimes look intimidating when they're just reserved. People confuse stillness with coldness. 31. They don't like being interrupted. It breaks their mental flow. 32. They need space to recharge. Without alone time, they become irritable. 33. They dislike people who complain too much. Negativity drains them. 34. They avoid gossip. Talking about others feels pointless and toxic. 35. They are extremely self-aware. Spending time alone develops introspection. 36. They get labeled arrogant for being quiet. People misunderstand silence. 37. They take longer to accept new people. Trust builds slowly. 38. They prefer environments they can control. Unpredictability increases anxiety. 39. They dislike being micromanaged. Personal freedom is important to them. 40. They value emotional maturity. Immature behavior pushes them away. 41. They think deeply about life. Their mind is always analyzing or reflecting. 43. They adapt slowly to new social groups. They need time to feel safe. 44. They don't fake excitement. If they don't care, you'll know. 45. They are misunderstood, not broken. Their dislike for people is protection, preference, or personality, not weakness. 1. Start with the observable behavior. What we see: avoidance of crowds, little interest in small talk, preference for solitude, blunt honesty, fast judgment of inauthenticity, slow trust building, and extreme loyalty to a very small inner circle. These are not random quirks. They're stable strategies that have predictable costs and benefits. Benefit side: why it persists. Conserves emotional and cognitive energy. Social interaction is taxing for these people. Avoiding it preserves mental bandwidth, reduces risk of emotional harm, drama, betrayal, manipulation. Distance is a protective strategy, enables deep thinking and creative productivity. Solitude fuels focus and self-reflection, increases control over environment. Predictable routines and fewer social obligations reduce anxiety. Cost side: why it's visible and sometimes problematic. Others label them rude, cold, or arrogant because their behavior violates social expectations. They miss some social opportunities, networking, casual support. They may be isolated during crises if their small support circle is limited. 2. The developmental and biological causes, logical chain. Multiple pathways can lead to social avoidance. They often overlap. A. Temperament and biology. Some people are born with higher sensitivity to stimulation, introversion, sensory sensitivity, or neurodivergent wiring. Their nervous systems find social environments more taxing. The logic here is simple. If social noise triggers overstimulation, avoiding it increases comfort and performance. B. Early environment and learned patterns. If childhood provided inconsistent emotional safety, neglect, unpredictable caregivers, emotional volatility, learning to keep distance becomes adaptive. The world felt dangerous, withdrawing was protective. Over time, these defensive habits become personality features. C. Repeated negative feedback from social situations. If someone repeatedly encounters insincerity, manipulation, or judgment, they infer, correctly in many cases, that social interaction costs more than it gives. That inference, backed by experience, reinforces avoidance. D. Cognitive style and values. People who prefer depth over breadth find small talk pointless. Their internal logic, meaningful conversation, entertainer-level banter. This isn't antisocial so much as value-driven. E. Mental health and trauma. Depression, social anxiety, PTSD, or trauma-related mistrust generate aversion. Here, avoidance is both symptom and coping mechanism. 3. How they assess people. The internal model. Their social decision-making is typically fast, pattern-based, and conservative. Observe. Facial expressions, tone, body language, match to known patterns of authenticity versus threat. If the pattern resembles previous harm, manipulation, hypocrisy, escalate distance. If the person passes a high bar for integrity or usefulness, permit guarded intimacy. This model explains why they: A. Smell inauthenticity quickly, B. Cut ties fast when boundaries are crossed, and C. Invest deeply but in a small number of relationships. 4. Social dynamics and misinterpretations. Because society values warmth, expressiveness, and ease in group settings, reserved people are often misread. Silence is mistaken for arrogance. Boundary setting is labeled coldness. The logical error from the outside, confusing different social strategies. One person's withdrawal for safety is interpreted as moral deficiency. 5. Practical consequences and tips for both sides. For the person who avoids others, recognize the trade-offs. Avoidance is adaptive but costly in certain domains. Care networks opportunity. Decide where to compromise. Maybe keep low-maintenance social ties for backup. Develop quick, bounded ways to connect. 1 meaningful contact per month. Online communities, structured groups. For people interacting with them, Don't take silence personally. Respect boundaries. Demonstrate trustworthiness through action over time. Offer meaningful interaction, not forced cheerfulness. A direct, honest invitation is better than loud, superficial group pressure. 6. Final logical summary. Why this matters. People who don't like people are using a rational, experience-informed strategy to manage limited psychological resources and reduce harm. It's not always a pathology, it can be a protective style or a temperament. Society misreads them because social norms favor extroversion. If this video opened your eyes, don't just leave. Upgrade your mind. Hit like so more people who need this message can find it. Drop a comment below and tell me which fact hit you the hardest. I actually read them. And make sure you subscribe, because we're on the road to building one of the most logical, realist communities on YouTube. No filters, no fake positivity, just truth, psychology, and growth. Also, check out my website for free printable planners, digital tools, ebooks, and all the extra content you won't find anywhere else. Your improvement starts with your habits. Go grab something that helps you level up. And don't forget to watch the next videos on your screen. I promise you, every single one will make you think different. Let's grow. Let's evolve. Subscribe now.